Good morning. This is Dr. Bill speaking. And I'm glad that you have chosen to view this video. I'd like to start by saying this is the first video on our spiritual journey. So please, if this is the first time seeing Dr. Bill, I would suggest that you go back to my YouTube channel, Dr. Bill Speaks, and you view the belief system, parts 1 through part 5, so that you have a better understanding of where I'm going from here. And I hope that you go with me. This, I think, is very important because the one thing that I have observed in my years is that the world needs a revolution. Not an evolution, but a revolution. Now, if you have followed me in our belief system, you can see that everything that we have come to learn and have come to believe, we have been programmed. And we were programmed by those in power, those with wealth, to keep them in power and with wealth. We have been programmed to worship idols such as money, sex, drugs, all these things that we seek in order to find some kind of joy and happiness. This is what the belief system does. We have this belief system in America. They have belief systems in Africa, belief systems in South America, belief systems within our own belief system. You cannot change it in a revolutionary way within that system. You cannot change our belief system by opposing another belief system. Communism cannot change within communism. Democracy cannot change within democracy. And they cannot change at war with each other. Our world is a world full of violence, full of separation, full of conflict, chaos, death, and destruction. This is not the recipe for a world of happiness, joy, and freedom. A change needs to be made, and it needs to be made by those young folk, who have not been so indoctrinated as we older people. So let's talk about change for a minute. There are two kinds of changes. There's what we call the quantitative changes, and then there's that qualitative leap. Let me give an example. If you pass by and see a rose bush and suddenly there's a bud, well, you pass by it every day and you see that bud. And then all of a sudden one day, it has blossomed into a flower. Well, while it's in that bud stage, it makes very slow, imperceptible changes that you do not notice. But then suddenly it blossoms into something qualitatively different. See, our lives go through slow quantitative changes until we are able to make a qualitative leap. Well, the same way with our belief systems, until we're able to make a qualitative leap, then we'll be cycling back and forth in our belief system, going thinking that we're making great changes when we're not. We'll have civil rights one time, and then some years later it'll switch, the pendulum will swing back to the other way. Once it swing that way so far, it'll swing back to the other way. We go back and forth and cycling for decades and for centuries even. But now it is time to make a qualitative leap into something different. I just want to tell you that we live in an era where we are beginning to understand that there are two worlds. In my first belief system, I talked about the world that we're in now, this universe, the universe of time and space, and matter. We are matter. Our bodies are matter. Well, we're situated in time and space. And I just want to say that Our bodies, this is our bodies, is something temporary. Everything that our bodies encounter in time and space, all matter is temporary. I know some may exist for a really long time, billions of years, but it all come into existence and will all go out of existence. But now there's another world. There's a world that is not made of matter, but it's made of energy. And it is an eternal world. You know, prior to us coming into these bodies, we were a spirit. We came into these bodies and we grew into this world in hopes that while in this world, we could learn to be back in that spirit. You see, at some point in eternity, there was a separation. There was a thought about time, space, and matter. That thought was so powerful that it created what we are now calling the Big Bang Theory. Once that thought was created, it could no longer live with eternity. It created a separation, and we're enacting and reenacting that separation in our life on a daily basis. We got some who want guns and some who don't. We got some who want abortion and some who don't. Neither position is right or wrong. They are both part of a separate order which needs to be revolutionarily changed. We need to take a qualitative leap from separation to oneness. Let me tell you a little bit about that. You know, like as we go through the spiritual journey, you hear me talk about Jesus, but you also hear me talk about Buddha. You also hear me talk about Einstein. I talk about people who have gained some knowledge and insight and wisdom in this world and can see a different world. So I'll be quoting all of them. Now, I'll talk more about Jesus because I'm a retired pastor. I learned more about Jesus. I learned more about Einstein because I majored in physics. You know, so I'll be talking back and forth about quantitative changes and also quantitative physics. So anyway, let's get back to where I'm going. Jesus gave us a great parable, and it has been misinterpreted and misread and misunderstood for eons. But he gave us the parable of the prodigal son. You see, the prodigal son one day decided to leave where he was and go into another lifestyle. He's separated from his father. You notice his father never argued, never talked to try to stop him. And when he left, he went out into the world and he took his inheritance with him, and he spent up all his inheritance, and he did everything he could. And he ended up finding himself doing the thing that he hated the most, doing the thing that to him was the most disgraceful thing he could do. He found himself in the hog pen. And you see, there are some lessons that can only be learned in the hog pen. So you see, we people who left eternity and took on this matter in having our hog pen experience. You know, we are learning our hog pen lesson. But I want to tell you that there is a better way. There is a better way. It is a more difficult way in the sense that it is not, it's very simple, but it's not easy. So what I want to tell you is that what we will be doing in this pod, after we have left the belief system and we start our spiritual journey, we will be talking about the ways that we could make that qualitative leap from our belief system into what Jesus called the kingdom of God. I know our religion teaches that, you know, you do all the right things, you make rich people rich, and you don't create any problem. And when you die, you're gonna go to heaven or you're gonna go to hell. In eternity, there is no hell. There's only, we were talking about energy. See, we are energy. Our matter, our body is condensed energy. But in our soul, our spirit, the intricate part of us is energy. And that energy is from God. And what God created is eternal. God did not create the bodies. I know what the Bible says and all that. And that's a discussion that we can have some other time. I don't want to debate that. But I just want to inform us that we can make that decision to go from this belief system, this matter, into a eternal spiritual life. We can do that. But we can't do that as long as we're separated. As long as we at one another, one as we are full of greed and full of envy and full of hate and full of jealousy. Just think, is this what God created? Hate, energy? Picking up AK-47s and walking into a elementary school and killing people? Is this what we really want our lives to be? Is this what we really cherish? Is this what we really love? Or is there something else that we really want? You see, this world that we opted to come into when we left and separated from eternity is a world based on fear. But the world we left is a world based on love. And to make a revolutionary change in this world, we got to convert this world from fear to love. And there are 100 forms of fear. Anger, greed, all these things are based in fear. But love, sharing, caring, giving. See, this world is about taking, but eternal world is about giving. See, if everything is given and everybody's the same, there is nobody to compete with. But that's a story for something for a different story. What I do want to say is that it is time in this world for a revolutionary change, and I think we can make that if we begin to follow and develop our spiritual journey. And there will be many tapes, videos after this one to talk about principles of energy and eternity. I will talk about those, and if you object or don't believe them or you want to comment, please comment on the videos and please subscribe so that you can have these, keep up with these videos because they will be sequential. This is number one, okay? So I'm asking everybody to if they haven't seen the belief system 1 through 5, to look at that and join us in this journey and share it with your friends so that they too can object, agree, or whatever. I don't defend God. I don't need to defend God. God is pretty good at that himself. But I would like to hear your objections and your comments and what it is that you would like to see more of. So like it and subscribe. Amen. Okay. The next topic will be about atonement. And before you run from the word atonement, I would like for you to break it down into its proper thing. It is at 1 minute. And at 1 minute will be part of just about everything we're going to have to say. At 1 minute is the final step to go into that qualitative leap. But before we get there, there's some things that we got to do. Thank you. And Dr. Bill is signing out.